Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. In this video, I'm going to show you the latest additions I did for the Random Flow add-on. So next version will be 1.7.75 and these will be passed along with Creative Flow since I've already finished all of the tutorial videos for each functionality. So for the loan operators, there's going to be its own video, and for the submenu, there's going to be its own operator video as well, tutorial videos. So those videos are going to be just generalized overview of their functions and how to use them in everyday modeling will be in the demo videos that I'm going to do after I've released the product in the shops. Okay, so Creative Flow and and Random Flow. Creative Flow version 1.0 and Random Flow 1.7.5 will be released at the same time. So let's start with Random Loop Extrude. Individual solver path will now be default. Original only will also be default. And Clip Center will also be default. And loop ratio and loop panel size. This I've changed the UI to display only 2 points to 2 decimal points, but this is still in fraction. When you use the control mouse button, roll up and down, it's now gonna increment at 1 instead of 0.01. Yeah, but you can still write the fractions manually. So for example, 5.05, it's gonna display 5, but if you click, so that's the real value inside, but it's displaying this 2 points here, so it's much cleaner. Okay, so this is in percent. Minimum, there's going to be a minimum limit or soft minimum limit of 1, but you can go past this by entering the value manually, so let's say 0.5. Then you can go to 0. Okay, and it's the same with ratio, so 1% and 0%. There's no soft minimum. Minimum is 0, maximum is 100. Okay, and inset thickness, added that as well. And also cut method, wrap around is now by default, and the angle has been renamed to split, and the UI has been changed, so wrap around is now here and has been renamed to wrap, and angle has been renamed to split. Okay, so and we have the solver changes to the solvers as well, and you can now easily identify. So sampling and recursive will now have a major difference on the result. So this is sampling and this is recursive. Radial stays the same, and sampling from before recursive can go panel size to 100 and everything will disappear because it takes the entire set of faces and in 100% panel size, and that's also going to be true in sampling. So from before it's kind of stuck like this here, and also for shortest and longest. So right now that's all fixed. So going at 1%, the islands will be unified into a single face. Sampling, recursive, and radial. And this is our wrap method. So Wrap is now by default, and this is split wrap. And also you can do uh if you saw it in my Instagram and Twitter, you can do manual. Let's mirror this. You can do manual paneling by marking the edges as sharp. So you can do it with Control E, mark sharp, or control or using Creative Flow, Control Shift X. Edges in edit mode, go to edges submenu and select mark sharp. So for example, if we do this, mark this edge as sharp. I think I've got a tutorial for this. So Blender tutorials 001. So that's number one video for the tutorials. So mark sharp edges, and if I use random panels, I'm not even going to use subdivision, but I'm going to clip the center line because of the mirror. And then all I have to do is, if I want just the mark sharp edges, I'm going to increase the panel size, and it leaves me just that. If I want to mix in a randomized result, I can lower the panel size, even increase the subdivision. You can see that the manual cut is still there and stays there, while the rest of the details are randomized. So go to 100% and just use subdivision 0 for the manual cuts. You can use quad topology or even incon topology for the manual cuts method. Okay, so clear sharp, and let's see, random panels. Okay, so clip center is also at default, and what else? Oh, changes to shortest and longest. So I've already shown you that. Uh, the remove panels. So random panels. So you can now remove panels. You can toggle this on, and as you can now remove those panels. Instead of, if you toggle this on, the panels will be kept, but they will be flattened, or joined into a single island. Whereas if you use this, they will be removed completely, which is a great way of layering effects. For example, using a depth of much larger depth here, and then using random panels again, and selecting a lower depth. Okay, so you can layer the effects like that, much like a random loop extrude. And okay, we have random scatter, single object, random tubes. Oh, random tubes. I think a lot of changes for random tubes. I think there's a video for that. Also, we can limit the minimum length. Let's increase the subdivision. So maximum length, let's say, is 10, 10 edges, and minimum length is 4 edges. That means that the pipes we're using just 4 edges will be deleted. So it's kind of great for cleaning up those really small pipes that you see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and align. This means that the pipes has a possibility to go to straight line before actually turning. So it has five edges before it will decide to turn. So if it encounters something that's going to make it turn without completing the five segments of being straight, it's just going to turn. But if not, it's going to complete those five segments of um, straight alignment. So angle of 30 degrees, this is by default. Most situation will just use 30 degrees. So for example, if I just, okay, oops, see if I just use one, you can see that the tubes have spaghettified. So alignment of 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they get straighter versus just one. So alignment of 10. This means that they need to complete 10 straight um, path before deciding to turn, unless they are forced to do so. Okay, and that's it for the pipes. We have, let me just apply this. We have random cables. So random cables, I fixed. There's actually a bug that I didn't notice. If you were to use this on a mirrored object that's not at the world center, the mirror is going to be off. So this time I've fixed that. So let's try it. Auto mirror X, Y, and Z, and use this and catenary. Okay, so that is fixed. And now we have a different cable type, which is curve. Okay, so you can define the normal of that using the normal picker. So for example, I'm just gonna click on the screen. On the empty screen, it's going to use the direction of the viewport, or if I click on the face, it's going to use the normal direction of that face to pull the curve towards that direction. So let's use the look at direction, and then you can see face normal not found using view direction instead. And random cables curve. So you can see it's pointing towards the look direction we have from before. And so this is catenary. This doesn't need normal. It's always going to be pointing at the Z axis. Okay, and this is curve. You can of course manually offset it to the lateral axis, to the literal XYZ axis. And we have the normal offset. So it's gonna pull that towards the picked normal that we did earlier, and maximum. So offset noise, and we have wiggle. Wiggle is going to randomly set those chord points, um, randomly place them as uh, random locations to create this wiggle effect. So we can reduce the effect by using the steps. We decrease the resolution of the curve, and we also affect the wiggle, how much it wiggles, because at lower resolutions it doesn't have that much point to wiggle. Okay, so those are the kinds of effects that you can do with this. So cursor to world origin, and there's another cube, and this. So if I, for example, use this look at direction and random cables curve. Oh, Oh, it's not okay. So let's try this instead. I'm just going to look at it after the video. It's a curve. No faces detected. Okay. There we go. Let's use the look at direction and face normal and final CPU direction instead. Random cables. What? Oh, okay. We're supposed to pull it. So it's going towards the look at direction. You can wiggle. So if you increase the resolution, you can see that it creates that much wiggle. So this is great because from before, um, so this is 0. You can now do straight connections that is not possible with the catenary system. Okay. Random color. So random animation. So from before, the origin script is wrong, and sometimes it's creating an offset. Right now, it's been corrected. So using the origin pivot will now create a correct pivot location. Final screws. So small changes to the UI, so margin and offset and also radius. So it makes it more readable. And I think this is also true for flanges. Yeah. So size, radius, and depth. Small changes to the UI. So we have auto smooth and extract faces. Small changes to the UI here as well, and to the icons. Settings. So select active has now been removed, because of another feature that's been added. So right now, every random operation, the active object will always be selected. And let's go to the last feat update that I added. So random loop towards random cables, they can now work inside edit mode. So random loop extrude, press this example 555. Okay. So it's much easier to do it now, and it's kind of like painting because you never have to leave edit mode. Also the same for panels, and we have random loop extrude, probably the weirdest um, operator we have here, but still it still gives some really magical shapes now and then. And random scatter, and random tubes, and we have um, random cables catenary. It's too much. Okay. So random V color or random vertex color is limited to object mode as well as random animation because of how the script works. And I think final screws as well. Yeah, final screws as well works in edit mode now, except for its twin, the flanges couplings, because it only works on curved objects and not mesh. Okay, there we go. So now it also works in edit mode. And randomize elements. Now it randomizes by default the birds, the edges, and the faces. So from before, I think you had to select. Now it just randomizes everything from the selection. And if you want, you can just toggle off sort verts and just leave faces, for example. And grid project, I think, is the randomization of the grid. So, for example, if I have 50%, proc means if a chance that the line could be drawn, so 50% only. So this is great if you um, because the randomization result depends on the topology. You have to be really creative sometimes with the topology format. So this can give you, if you're feeling lazy about just manually setting loops like that, you can just use this, and most of the area will be quantified. You can just randomize the topology like that. Okay. And grid slice, yeah, it's still the same. Check that stack verts, extras, mesh data, use cleanup. So remove two EVs is now renamed to remove corner verts. So it's much easier to remember and understand. Yeah, so that's it. What did we call it? The ease of life, or yeah, there's a term for it. So those are the changes that we made to make it easier for the user to use this add-on. So I remember reading from a comment once that part of the problem was the operator is not working in edit mode. So I reviewed the code and found out that they can work on edit mode because in the script the active object is not at all transformed, and it's just reference for their geometry data. So and the rest of the object is created outside, so the active object is actually safe. Um, and that let me change a few codes and make it work for edit mode. Okay, so and also before we auto mirror, um, extract faces. Okay, the UI no longer uses the color blue; it's now grayed out for the hotkeys. I like it this way because it's monotone. It doesn't. It's going to work for any theme, Blender theme that you're using. And this is also true for Creative Flow, draw faces, extract faces. So I like it this way, monotone, and it's not going to be heavy for your eyes because of the it's not gonna be confusing to the eyes because of its lack of color. So you can just focus on your work right here. Okay, and that's what is to expect with the next update, which is going to be soon. I'm just finishing up the subtitles in the videos, and give me a couple more days, and I'm going to update the shops with this new additions to their functionalities. And also, we're going to have another go at merging the objects, the randomized objects for 3D printing. And this is also has been changed. And we're going to go at it again and try this again. Okay. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, be sure to use the comment section and the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.